So this will be our mat session. We're going to perform all the exercises down on the exercise mat. And if you have a Pilates mat rather than a yoga mat, it's slightly more comfortable, slightly more padded. So that would be my preferred mat for you to use. Obviously, to come down onto the mat, we need you to be able to safely come down onto the mat and safely get back up again. So these exercises are for those who can comfortably come down and safely onto the mat. So if you start onto your back, and just place your hands in a diamond shape just on the front of your pelvis. And then we're just going to rock your pelvis back and forth. This is called a pelvic tilt, and it's a really nice exercise for the lower back and the pelvis. And if you suffer from pain in these areas, this can be a really nice mobility exercise for you. Just stay nice and relaxed, don't force the movement. You're tucking the tailbone under and then creating space here between the waist and the floor. We'll just do 2 more there. And then coming into what we call our neutral spine here. So our neutral spine is where we're flat through the pelvis and we have a gentle, small gap between the waist and the floor. So we neither want to be pushed right down against the mat, nor do we want a big gap here. We want to be safely positioned in that neutral spine. Now, just like we did in the introduction video, we're going to engage our tummy muscles here so that we're activating our deep core muscles. So a little review of this. We feel those hip bones at the front. We come in about 2 centimeters and down 2 centimeters. So we're in the pelvic area. We take a breath in. As we breathe out, we just gently engage, drawing those muscles in towards your spine. It's a gentle engagement. We're not bracing the muscles really hard. Staying nice and soft in these upper abdominal areas. Taking the arms down by the sides. With the breath out, we're just going to float that leg up into what we call a tabletop position, where the knee is at 90 and the hip is at 90. Keeping that contraction, and with the breath out, let's lower back down. Breath in, and then with another breath out, taking that leg up and back down. Remember, if the breathing doesn't come to you easily, just remember not to hold your breath throughout the whole exercise. As long as you're breathing, that's the most important part. So we're bringing those legs up, challenging that abdominal position. Breath out and breath in. This one's called scissors, and we're going to do 4 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, again challenging that center. So let's reset by drawing those tummy muscles in. This time we're going to lengthen the leg along the floor. Same to the other side. This time the breathing is breath out to take the leg away, breath in to return. And again, you'll be watching this on a screen, so once you know what you're doing, try to take your head back up to the ceiling so that you're not in a twisted head position, but you're nice and aligned. Keeping that engagement. If you found that you've lost the engagement a little bit, then stop and reset. You should feel like you're contracted in those lower tummy muscles. Breath out to send the leg away. Breath in to return. Last one here. And then again, we're going to contract and gently draw in those tummy muscles, taking one leg out to the side, back in, and other leg, same. So we're gently opening the hip here, but we're also challenging our rotational control. So we're making sure that we're not lifting the opposite hip here as we take the leg out to the side. We're keeping this pelvis glued down to the floor. Once again, think about that engagement of the tummy as we go for 4 and 3, last 2 and 1. From there, let's bring the arms into place. So the feet are hip width apart, lined with your hips. As we take the arms up, we're still engaging through that center, but we're going to take the arms back behind, keeping that rib cage down, and then take the arms back up. So when we take the arms and move them overhead, we really want to think about keeping this part connected with the mat. Depending on the range of movement at the shoulders, it might be that you take the arms to here and back. Don't feel that you need to take them all the way back to the floor. The important part is that you're working in your pain-free range and that you're controlling the movement. Now let's combine 2 exercises together now. So we're going to take the leg away and both arms away. Bring them all back. This time let's combine the breathing. So we're taking the breath out and the breath in. Breath out, breath in. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. Taking those arms and floating them all the way back down to your sides, pulling the heels in just a little bit closer to your buttocks. We're going to come into a shoulder bridge now. So we're going to start with that pelvic tilt that we did at the start. So tucking the tailbone under, pressing the lumbar spine, the lower back down against your mat, and then bringing each bone by bone, and lifting up. Now we don't need to go right to the top here. We could go halfway up, staying in a hammock shape, and then we're going to come back down, thinking about bone by bone. Imagine that your spine is like a string of pearls here, and you're touching each pearl to the mat, really working on that segmental movement of the spine. It's a lovely mobility exercise. At the same time, I want you to think about contracting through the glute muscles, which live in your buttocks. So just gently squeezing your buttocks as you come up. Like I say, it might be that you're just taking the movement to here if you want to protect your back a little bit. But if you don't have any spinal problems, then you can take it right up to here, but being careful not to overextend up to this point. So you're aiming for a straight line from shoulders to knees. Rolling back down again here. And let's go for 1 more there. Breath out, coming all the way up. And breath in, coming back down. Lovely. Okay, from here we're going to come into side lying. So gently come onto one side. We'll be doing both, so it doesn't really matter which one you start with. Taking the arm out to the side and lying on the arm. Now if you have any neck complaints, you might want to take a thin cushion in between your shoulder and your head. And then we're going to line up so that the hips are at about 45 degrees, the knees are about 90 degrees, and the heels are in line with your spine. This top hand is just gently positioned in front of you, and we're just going to lift that top leg and lower. Now this one's called a clam. It's a brilliant exercise for working our gluteal muscles, those muscles on the top of the hip here. So we want to feel the effort of this exercise into this area here, almost imagining you have a back pocket, and that's where you're driving the movement from. Relax this top shoulder and have the hand relaxed in front of you. And with your breathing here, you're going to breathe out to lift the leg and in to return. Now one last point here. We don't want to rotate backwards with the movement. So perhaps take your hand onto the top hip and think about keeping that hip still as you lift the leg. Again, it's all dependent on hip range of movement. It might be that this is your range here, slightly smaller range. That's okay. This is your exercise session. You work with your body. Let's do 3 more here. Hopefully you're feeling a nice amount of activity into the buttock. And we'll do 1 more. And then we're going to finish this side lying section before moving on to the other side, just taking that leg out in front of you. Again, take the arm just in front, point the toes, and we're just going to take the leg forwards, pull the toes towards, and come back. Breath out and breath in. Now, what's really important here is to stay still through this center area. So the movement is coming from the hip joint. It's not coming from the lumbar spine, so we don't want to feel any movement there. And the way to achieve that is by engaging those tummy muscles that we talked about at the beginning. From there, we're going to do 3 more. If you need a wee rest, just take the leg down. And last one. And then just set that leg down again. Gently pull the knees up towards the chest. And then we're going to come over onto the other side, repeating those exercises on this same side. So again, exactly the same here, lying your head onto your arm, and a thin towel or cushion can just increase the comfort of your neck. Remember the setup here. So we're thinking about heels in line with the spine, hips at 45, knees at 90, top hand just in front of you there, relaxed through the shoulder. With your breath out, let's lift that leg. With the breath in, we lower, making sure we don't rotate backwards and feeling the effort into that top hip. Keep going there and remembering just to engage that lower tummy muscle area as well. We want to keep that in play for all of these exercises, just teaching it to join in and work alongside the exercise. Let's do 2 more there. Clam's a great exercise. There's lots of varieties of clam that we can build in. Let's lengthen the leg again, making sure you're stacked through the hips. We're just going to take the leg forwards, pull the toes towards, and push back. Again, you can see we don't need any fancy equipment here. Our body provides us with plenty of resistance to work with, particularly when we lengthen the levers and make the leg long like this. It feels quite tiring. So we're just going to do 2 more there. And then last one. Bend the knees and bring them up towards you, just taking a little second before we move on to our next position, which is in 4-point kneeling. If you do have some water handy, take a wee drink, and otherwise we're going to come on to a 4-point position, which is here. So in 4-point, we want the wrists directly underneath the shoulders. We want a nice neutral spine, so think about drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Sometimes in this position, people tend to come naturally into a rounded position, so you want to think about just dropping down a fraction. Think about the knees coming directly underneath the hips and your gaze coming just in front of your hand. So we don't want to be here. It's not happy for the neck. Now sometimes clients will complain a little bit about wrist pain in this position. If your wrists aren't happy, then you can come onto a fist here, which can make it a little bit more comfortable. But usually that discomfort eases off quite quickly. So if it's comfortable enough, Then take the hands back down here. Again, think about just drawing that tummy muscle in towards your spine. And we're going to come into what's called swimming legs only. So we're going to send that leg off behind and then bring it back in. Now it might be that you just keep the toe in contact with the floor, which just makes the exercise a little bit steadier. We're going to alternate both sides. So lifting the leg away, pointing the toes, bringing it back in. If you can take the leg off the floor, great, but this is a control exercise. So we really want to make sure that we're not shifting through the pelvis, rotating, or allowing the pelvis to kind of swing from side to side. The aim of the exercise is to keep everything in neutral. So just work with that thinking in mind about keeping that control. Use that tummy muscle, so gently draw it up towards the spine. And then bring the legs back down again. From there, we're going to do the same, but just with the arms. Okay, so we're going to take an arm up and down. Breath out to lift the arm, breath in to lower. Think about that tummy muscle engagement all the time. Make sure you're looking down at your mat now that you know what you're doing. Trying to avoid looking at the screen too much, keeping that neutral position. Just lifting the shoulder as far as is comfortable. 2 more there. And then from there, let's combine the two. So this is the biggest challenge. Yet we're going to take arm and opposite leg away. Coming back in. Think about those shoulders drawing down. Again, this is really important to maintain control. So try not to swing over to the side. Keep the arm and leg low so that you stay nice and centered. We're going to do one more after this one. And then we're going to come into a gentle stretch here. So sitting backwards against the heels. And again, if this one isn't for you because of your knees, an alternative might be just to come into a lovely cat stretch, dropping chin down towards chest. Now we're going to finish with one challenge here. Let's see if we can lift the knees off the mat in this position. So we're going to keep that length through the spine, taking a breath in. As you breathe out, pressing through the hands, just try to lift those knees. Now this is tough. If it's too difficult, just return to your stretch. But if you're managing, well done. It's a hard exercise. We'll do 3 more. And lower slowly. 2 more. This one really works everything. It's a very global exercise. Let's do 1 more there. And then return to your stretch, either coming back into that shell stretch or coming into that cat stretch. Then returning to your neutral. And there we are. Well done, everyone. That was a lovely range of exercises, some of them quite challenging. So I hope you worked at your own pace and that you enjoyed those exercises. Well done for joining in.